Good afternoon. Thank you guys for both being here. I'm Alex Wood, and this is In Conversation with you guys. So let's just introduce the pair of you.
Okay. I'm Kerry, and I'm a halls manager here at Varley Bank.
And I'm Lisa. I work as a residence life coordinator for student living.
Brilliant. And then if you guys could just tell us what your day-to-day is and how that works. What's an average 9 to 5 for the pair of you?
Okay, so as a hall manager, I deal with all maintenance requests, any flat disputes, flat issues, organising contractors to come into site, anything that you can think of really that you'd need support in any kind of accommodation comes through to your halls manager.
And as a residence life coordinator, I deal with the events programme. So we run events from September through to June, July when the students move out. And we do a full programme of events. This year has been slightly different, obviously, but we've tried to do our best. But normally we do a mixture of sort of day trips and then things in the common rooms where we've done things like yoga, cookery, quizzes, bingo, all sorts of things, just to get people socialising with people in their halls and in our other halls.
Because it's all about making friends for life and making people that you can actually put up with in your day-to-day, because the people in hall see you at your highest point, your lowest point, your ugliest point, your most hungover point, whatever point there really is there, they all see everything, and it is really kind of a bond and a unity that you get. Is that something that you guys have seen more of this year because of COVID and stuff, or is it just a general normality that has actually been kept because of coronavirus?
So I think the relationships between staff and students has always been quite strong, but I think COVID has obviously made students a little bit more reliant on us for that social side of things. So I think there's been a lot more interaction, students coming down probably to reception or emailing you, basically to just have a chat, which has been quite important, and I think we have built some very good relationships up this year.
Yeah, and I think obviously from a residence life point of view, it's been a bit difficult because we've not been able to do any face-to-face events. So everything we have done has been online, virtual events where we've tried to recreate what we would do face-to-face online, which obviously isn't easy, but it does give people the opportunity to still meet with people over virtual ways rather than face-to-face.
Of course, that's the most important thing, is trying to adapt where we possibly can, because this has been, and I'll say the stereotypical phrase, unprecedented times that we've all experienced, and the unity that you guys have brought to not only students, but it sounds like yourselves as well, is absolutely amazing, and that's what we want out of not only life but other human beings as well. And the interaction thing is great to hear that other people are really wanting to speak to people, because you take that stereotypical image of students just not wanting to speak to anybody, hiding in their rooms with the big blankets on, ETing it out and doing it like that. But no, we'll go there. You both obviously work for halls in different capacities and stuff like that, but for students that have either commuted this year or decided to stay at home or deferred for a year, what are the actual perks of living in halls? Because there are many.
Okay, so I'd say living in halls, obviously all your bills are paid for, so there's no surprise fees or anything like that you'd have to, obviously students would have to pay. It's knowing that they've got us here to support them if they need anything. Obviously if you go into private accommodation, you have an issue with any of your flatmates, you're tied into that contract for the rest of the year. Whereas in halls, we'll offer services like mediation with your halls manager. We'll speak to the flat and we'll try and work the issues out and give them the right tools, obviously, to want to continue to live in halls. And we have options of being able to move people to different sites or different flats. So it's not just that's your contract and you're stuck into that contract for the rest of the year. We do everything we can to obviously please the student and make sure that they're in the best environment to live and to learn.
And the Wi-Fi's pretty good.
The Wi-Fi's good, yeah. And there's a great residence life events programme.
Which is it, that's exactly what you want. And then moving on to, like, if you decide that you like it here, because this is, as I said to you both before we were on camera, this is the first time I've been in Varley Bank. It's beautiful here. If no one has been to Varley Bank and wants to go on an excursion and stuff like that, there's loads of links on websites, and we'll put links all over videos and make sure that happens. But if they decide that they want to stay in their particular halls, because it's not just Varley Bank, we've got 6 halls sites at the University of Derby. I think I'm correct in that. Please correct me if I'm incorrect.
Yeah, we're up to 10, including Buxton. Yeah.
It's 10 now. Look at that, making me look like a little bit of a fool there, guys. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it massively. But if you decide that you want to relive in one of those 10 areas, is that possible? You can just book again for the next year, or is it just a first year thing?
No, so you can come back in your second or third year, or fourth year if you're doing a 4-year degree, so you can come back at any point, and we would try, if you wanted to stay in the same hall or in the same flat, we would try and accommodate that request. Likewise, if you wanted to stay with the same flatmate, we would try and accommodate that too. So you'd put all that down together in your booking process, in the application form online, and then we'd try our best to make sure that was possible for you. But yeah, we definitely welcome you back.
So then, obviously, what you just described there is like the application form. Is it an extensive one? Is it very simple? Is it as soon as you submit it, you can't change anything, and it's if you've made that mistake, you've made that mistake, and you have to live with it? Or is it a really kind of open dialogue between you guys and students?
No, it's very simple. There's a £50 deposit which is taken off your first term's rent, and then you put your main details into that online form, any requests and things like that. But of course you can change it if you want to, and we've got a student housing team that work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday that can speak to you about making those changes and adaptations if they need to. So yeah,
which is really quick, because again, that's not something a private person would understand. Or if you don't have the money, out you go, and if something goes wrong, out you go, and all that lot, which is amazing. And what not only first years but some second and third years would want is that security and that blanket there that you guys are there. And in terms of that then, so you can pick who you're going to stay with. So if you make some friends on your course that aren't necessarily your flat, you group them all together. If they're on the application form, of course, not if they just randomly apply separately. Of course, that would be bananas. That's a lottery box, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so we try. So obviously, with all of our applications that come through, we do have a team that actually sit down and then look at those applications, and whether you're first year, second or third, try and best match those applications. So there is a notes section where you can put in if you want to share a flat with any certain individuals. So that gets taken into account when they do the allocation. And then also if there's anything in particular, so any interests or things like that, our team do look at that and then try and best match people. So it's not a computer that makes the decisions on where people are allocated. It is actually the personal touch of someone looking at that application and seeing who would be best to be fitted.
Right, so then, just for the confirmation then, so if it is just random and you put the 5 random people there, but one all 5 are second years, you'll try and group all the 5 second years together or the 5 third years together, unless of course they've requested to be with different people. Is that's correct?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I finally got something right. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm really making up for the 10 hall blunder. I really am. And then just speak to a couple of people, because I know there were loads of perks to coming back that you guys try and entice people with. I think entice might be the wrong word, but you try and make people go, yeah, no, picking halls for the next year would be really great. Are there any perks for students that want to come back, or is it just you come back and it's £50 and then you already know the score from your last year and stuff like that?
No, so we have a scheme at the moment which offers a £125 Love to Shop voucher. So if you apply as a returner, you're eligible for that voucher. And like I say, we can try and put you in the same flat if you want to be. The earlier you apply, the better. Obviously, the higher the chances that we can do that. It's better for you to come back, in terms of getting those perks like those voucher schemes and things like that. So.
And then of course, if that process marginally goes wrong or there's a small crease in it, you guys are really open to dialogue and we're open to changes and stuff like that. There's never any, no, it's ironclad, it's closed, no. Even up to the first week we move in and stuff. There is even still the flexibility, is that right?
Yeah, there is, yeah. There's a whole team of people there to speak to, so if there's something that you want to change, then they usually, they do the best to make that possible.
That's exactly what we wanted to do. And then obviously all 10 of the sites have their own little mini perks and their own individual stuff. Like there's one that's grouped with the university that's literally right at Kedleston Road. There's Sir Peter Hilton on the corner. There's Princess Alice down the road. There's Christopher Court up on the main road up there. And obviously we've got Cathedral that's in the centre of town. And this is Darley Bank here. So obviously we'll ask you, what's the main perk of Darley Bank here and the main selling point of Darley Bank itself?
Okay, so Darley Bank does provide some studios across the site. So we do have an opportunity for people who maybe are a couple or very good friends who want to take on a dual occupancy kind of studio. They are very, very well priced. We have different standards, same as we do with rooms, like your bronze, silver and gold. So it's an opportunity for someone who maybe wants to take that next level. So instead of going into private accommodation with somebody, they can take on the dual occupancy of one of our studios here. So they're still getting the support of all the other services that we provide, but they're still getting that level of independency that they want.
That's brilliant. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that you offered like a studio flat S type thing. That's incredible. I imagine they're as exquisite as this common room. As we said off camera, this is the best common room that the University of Derby offers. And I'm not just saying that because we're in Darley Bank, I promise you. I'm really not just saying that because we're there. Obviously, security for students, for new students, for returning students, for existing students is one of the biggest issues that we always get in terms of questions, or I'm assuming you get day to day and everything like that, as well as yourself. Can we just talk about what the process is for security, not only in this site, because I know when we walked through the door we had to have secure buzzers and key cards. Is that every student, and is that every hall on campus, or what's the score there?
Yeah, so it is every hall. So every hall is a key card and access, so you can't get in unless you've got your fob or your cards, and we have 24-hour security on site, so we have somebody in that office 24 hours a day. Through the night have a security team, and then we're also linked up with the main university security team as well, so if there were ever an issue we'd be linked up there as well. It's very safe.
They're only like 10 minutes away, aren't they? So like even if there is a bigger problem, they're only 10 minutes away. There's a police station around the corner. Everything's really simple, and from my personal experience in Horse, there's never really a large key amount of problems that not one security guard can say. Maybe a party that's too loud, but not this year because obviously coronavirus situations there. I'm trying to make you guys laugh, I really am. It's not really working. I apologise deeply. I apologise effortlessly. But it's not just you two there that are the main team here. You've got an army of residential assistants that are students.
Yes.
So just talk us. Obviously, you couldn't do what you guys do without them. So just tell us a little bit about what an RA is, how do you become one, and obviously what the main job that they do.
So we have RAs on every site, so we have 3 or 4 per site, and they work as a team along with the hall managers and the other staff on site. So they cover hours, usually sort of twilight hours between sort of 5 and 8 o'clock at night in the hall manager's office, so they'll cover that shift, and also at the weekends as well. So they'll do a lot of what the hall managers would do during the working day, but outside of those hours, so weekends and during the evening, and they're also on call during the evenings as well, aren't they, if there's any issues on site that they'd be able to respond to. They can be second or third years returning students. They obviously live on the site that they work on. And the applications usually open in the new year. So that would be all over our social media in the new year.
So if a student's looking for a little bit of money, a little bit of that extra money, and the opportunity to help out and almost be a kind of managerial position at a hall's place, and it looks really good on a CV, I'd imagine, then look to be a residential assistant. And there's no beef between residential assistants and students. Like, they all really get on. Like, they're some of the most popular kids on site, I'd imagine, because everybody knows them, and obviously they've got a wide variety of tasks and things to do, but they also have the opportunity, if they want, to do their own studies and make sure and I imagine their digs are a little bit sweeter than everybody else's.
I wouldn't say sweeter than everybody else's. On here they're of the same standard, but that's obviously very high. But I think the beauty of having the residential assistants there are a lot of students who don't feel comfortable to come forward and speak to a hall manager with issues, because they don't necessarily think that the hall manager has been through it or lived the uni lifestyle. So I think having those RAs there who've already done, a year living in halls or have the experience of being at uni, just opens up again to the students and gives them that option that if they are worried about something, they can speak to someone who has probably lived through it and get their advice. And obviously the RAs will then do the best to deal with that situation or pass it on if they need to, but it's just a friendly face for the students to go to when they know that they've got advice from somebody who's possibly been through or, you know, gone through what they've done before.
Which of course is bonkers, because both of you have been through the binge drinking phase of going hard, really, haven't you? Both of you have done that. Like we all know what going through a full bottle of Jägermeister's like, and the morning after it, and make sure there. But in terms of actual halls and stuff like that, if people were to want to return and make the booking tomorrow or today, that's still possible, right? They can book for next year whenever.
Yeah, the booking system's it's open now, so it opened at the end of last month, so yes, we'd encourage you to apply as soon as possible.
And they just find it via the accommodation link on the University of Derby website, or of course speak to your house manager, and they'll be able to find it there and then, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you guys so much for your time. It's been brilliant. Amazing. Thank you guys ever so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.